did you see what I did on Tuesday night? What Chris and I did?
I did.
Yeah. We went to see fucking Duran Duran, one of my all-time favorite bands. And Bastille opened, and so did Nile Rodgers and Chic.
Nile Rodgers and Chic.
Yes, I think it might have been Nile Rodgers.
Nile
Chic.
Rodgers
I don't know.
Chic.
Nile Rodgers is the pluralization with the extra S on the end. Clumsy, but effective. Not going to look at my little brown handbook and figure out if that's correct, because it's fucking not. Bastille was fine. Really, really, really fucking, entertaining. I knew most of the songs. They've got a few hits. Very British. But nothing really that blew my shorts off.
Okay.
But then Nile Rodgers gets on and basically, just a fucking just giant shit-eating grin on it, like just looked so fucking happy on stage. And then he proceeded to play a montage of 45 minutes of fucking Nile Rodgers hits that he had written or produced.
So
you've got Freak Out, Let's Dance, We Are Family, Like a Virgin, Get Lucky. I was fucking insane. Yeah. I mean, it was absolutely bananas. And I was like, holy fuck. And, of course, I made sure to sneak down I made sure we snuck down to the second row where some friends of ours were hanging and watched, a little bit of that. And then, we had to go back up to our seats again. And then, but we had reserved seats, not quite down on the front. And but then I'm going to give a giant fucking fuck yeah metal horn shout out to Simon LeBon.
Okay. Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it.
Because motherfucker, 64 years old, original keys on all songs, went above and beyond, sang like a god. Saying went above the record range a couple times and I was like, oh my God, and just wasn't running around like he did in the 80s, just this powerful, commanding presence on stage, and sang the shit out of every single song. And it was amazing. They were fucking fantastic. Great set list.
So who's all in it now? Or who's on this tour? Because I saw the joke that someone was going to see Duran.
It's
because
John.
It wasn't all of Duran Duran.
It's John and Roger Taylor. Simon, obviously.
John, that's what matters.
Yeah.
John and Simon.
John, Simon, Roger, and Don Brown playing guitar.
Well, Nick is
Nick was on keys.
Sick.
Nick,
right?
No, Andy's sick. Andy Taylor's sick. And apparently, a bunch of experimental treatments, he's actually doing better, but he's irradiated as fuck right now. We had a friend, remember, went through kind of a similar thing before he passed away, where he'd have to leave his clothes in the garage because they were basically plutonium,
Wow.
But yeah, so it was John Taylor, Roger Taylor, Nick Rhodes, Simon LeBon, and Don Brown, and then two ladies singing backups. So when they did something like "Come Undone," it was a girl singing the backup parts, and they were fucking that part. That's yeah.
At the seams.
That's such a great fucking song. The Wedding album, such a great record.
And people forget that was a comeback.
Yeah, 92.
It's got to be 92. I played it in a strip club.
Of course you did.
Yeah, and
everybody
was like, "Who's this?"
Becky.
And it was around the same time that Adam Ant put out kind of a comeback too. I used to pair those two songs.
Let's
together.
take a look here. Duran Duran, 93, my friend.
93.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ordinary World, Come Undone. Oh my God, what a great record. Yeah,
it's a great record.
Yeah, that's a really great one.
Plus, it's mixed just so well.
Yeah,
Duran Duran, totally worth it. Did they play Reflex?
Of course they did.
Did they play Chauffeur?
They did not play Chauffeur. They started with The Night Boat, which was fucking awesome. And they played Everything I Wanted to Hear, and I was very very happy. As a couple, there was a new song they played. They've got a new record coming out called Danse Macabre.
I heard that. I've heard a little bit of it,
and it sounds exactly like you want it to sound. And
it sounds like Duran Duran.
Yeah, and just to have a front man that's that well trained. Like we talked about a few weeks ago, Danielle and I went to see, my best friend Danielle and I went to see Yellow Card, and the guy from Amberlin was a little, he was clearly like the altitude was there. The guy from Mayday Parade was spot on, and but like we at altitude, singers tend to be like, "Ooh, man, it's hard up here." I did a show with Brian Cosmo from Boston a few years ago, and same thing. He was a little winded. Watching Simon LeBon be that fucking good at not just altitude, not just Mile High City. We're up at Red Rocks. We're another 1,500 feet up.
It's got to be 2,000. Yeah, close to that.
Yeah. And still just spectacular, like absolutely spectacular. Watching it, like you get him on the jumbotron here, and you watch his technique, and you watch just the relaxation, around his neck and his face, and where he's placing his voice, and you see how his tongue is, and you can see the whole thing, and you're like, my God, that man is just nailing it. I love it.
And he's like. He comes from sea level. That motherfucker's always on a yacht or by a beach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. God bless him. Me too. That sounds great. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I had a chance to work with his manager. We were going to do, like, Simon has a music publishing arm that is not just Duran Duran. And
one of his kids is an artist, too, isn't one of his daughters, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of, like, French acts and, like, songwriters...
Yeah,
over there, and they were putting together. They were trying to put together a production shop in L.A.
Oh wow!
And I was going to kind of oversee sort of the sync production side, which I love this. There are some companies that are starting to do this, but like this was, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and it was like we got pretty far into it where they were going to basically get this building on Sunset, and they wanted it to house like kind of a smaller B studio, and that B studio would be running all day creating basically syncable music. Nice. So it wasn't just like, let's not just create singles.
Yeah.
Let's create music that we know is going to be like syncable.
Yeah.
And then we can just pull in special people to do co-writes.
Perfect. I love it.
Like the studio would be running 24/7, and then the business side of it would be handling their publishing side and then pitching. And then we were like, you've heard me tell the same kind of thing to other studio people that we know. There was like, what you could do is you could do it this way, and we could have co-writing sessions, and then you could shoot a Friday night show. You could bring in a band and do a live thing. And we could do a video. And I'm like, I can show you how to make a fuckload of money with a recording studio if you want, But that's basically what it was going to be. And they ended up doing it in France. And the L.A. building kind of fell through. It was the building that was the problem. And I think actually Sony bought it.
Surprise.
Yeah, anyway, I was really close. I mean, we had a bunch of meetings. I was really down for it. But I was like, at that point, I was like, I'm not going to move to France.
No.
Why? Do it because... I don't know any, I couldn't, like, of course I would love to move to France and work.
That's fair.
It's not like I was going to be working with Simon or anything. It was like, it was his people.
Yeah.
And the point is that I knew that I could make the LA thing work. I knew enough people in LA just that could come to the studio every day.
Yeah, of course.
I knew enough, like, people.
Yeah.
And so, like, I didn't want to take the opportunity and not follow through on it.
Yeah.
And so, like, had I gone to France, I would be like, I don't know anyone here to come to the studio. I could find people, but it wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand that.
Different PROs, different, like everything.
Yeah.
It would have all been a whole lot different in France.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just wouldn't have been fair for me to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially especially with all that stuff.
And I'm sure that they had someone better in mind that could work on the France
thing. But the thing is, I don't. Even if
that dude, by the way, we're still linked in on LinkedIn, and he lives in Japan now.
Linked up on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So I'm like, well, what happened to the thing? I guess he's doing it in Japan now.
Doing it in Japan, huge in Japan. Speaking of studios, we've talked to people about, like with this one. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, studio owner in Denver. And he was doing a session one night, and he had set up all his drums, and I think it was earlier this year. February or March time. And he set up and he, set up all the drums, got everything tuned, got everything sounding great, walked into the control room, heard a kaboom, and the roof had collapsed in the live room and just
holy shit,
fucking wiped out his drum kit and the piles of snow came through.
That's the one we were both talking to?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he's been dealing with that.
The A room, the big live room?
The big live room, yeah. And they had a little bit of a fight to get it cleaned up. It's all better now, but none of the console equipment, none of the stuff in the control room was affected. But yeah, they had to do a pretty juicy rebuild on the live room.
What about the mic locker?
Well, the mic locker is in the other side, so yeah, it was all fine. But
like, wasn't there shit upstairs? Weren't they like doing like small rooms upstairs?
There was, but the live room took up 2 stories.
Live room was one full up. Yeah, that's
so
right.
and then the B room was up the stairs to the left from the control room, and that was up kind of like butting up against that wall above some of the smaller ISO booths and the mic locker. So, but yeah, God, the perils of owning a studio, man. I'm really grateful that I get to work there a lot all the time, and it's really fun to produce records up there. But I'm also really glad I don't own it.
No.
We
have a few studios I've known that flooded.
Yeah.
And that's just the worst because you can't.
Totally.
You've got to rewire everything. You can't find the one fucking wire that's not going into the console, right? And
I just did a little tech review of a high school theater. That was kind of a similar thing. I think it was built maybe 40 years ago or something like that. I don't even know. You could probably look it up, but it's at least 35, 40 years old. And so they've got these great guts where they've got these mic plates all over the world, but all inputs, no outputs, which is a weird thing. So I was like, okay, that's odd, but all right. And then if you trace the lines, they've got like a snake. It's buried. It's under the it's under the floor. It's concrete around it. Fuck you, you're not getting it out. But if you find where the junction box is in the back, it goes into the back of a rack of power amps, right? From 1985. Van Halen's PA is in this fucking auditorium.
Wow.
And it's up top. But nobody knows how to use any of that because they're all, it's a bunch of, they've got some new music teachers and all that, and that. So they've in an effort to kind of make it easier for people to fight. Because I can't imagine the fear of a high school student to go over and turn on
totally
power amps and turn that up and. If something's not
Watch
connected.
Watch the red light get redder.
Yeah, exactly. Watch things start smoking over there. I just the fear of that. Yeah, and
the
so what
smell? They're is it supposed to smell like that?
Yeah. Well, there's a bird's nest in the back of this thing now, so it's So what they did is they bought for the auditorium a couple of powered top cabinets and they put them on stands, and they ran microphone lines around the theater. To plug these things in because that makes sense. And the way that this theater was set up, I could see if I'm going directly from here to running the front of house on a Broadway or a little bit off Broadway show, this is the way I would set up this whole system. Their mixer's got a bunch of matrix stuff going on. But if I'm teaching high school kids Fisher Price my first sound system, this is not the way I would do it. So I had a conversation with them about how I said, you've got this great guts. Everything is, all the lines are solid. Everything's buried. You need to, we're going to get some turnarounds and we're going to stop running these cables all over the floor when people come in.
Yeah.
So got some of that stuff, sorted out. But I love that there was this great infrastructure built into this place. It's been set up so complicated. Just to make it so because you can't run sound here because it's just so complicated if you go into this right here. It's no, we're not doing that. Let's teach the fucking kids how to run and create their own music, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, and plus, we need, back in the day, there was none of that for kids in tech for high school. You had lights and stuff, for theater. But like a lot of stages weren't mic'd up, and now they've got like a lot of great PAs. I mean, it was all old PAs with like a silver mic that you press the button on.
Yeah, but the thing that I often get when I'm, like I'll go into those situations and they'll be like, "Can you help us figure this out?" And it's like, well, you've got that. We talked about this on a podcast a while ago about the little dot that looks like a hairnet, the little dot microphone that's in the middle of the forehead, kind of right here.
Oh, it pisses me off.
And
go on.
And but trying to teach somebody about, like I asked a series of questions, like, okay. Because one of our friends, his son is in the tech department for the theater.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I see you've got all the apron wedges up there, like on the apron of the stage. How do you control that differently than the thing the audience hears? Because your performers are going to want to hear something different. He goes, I don't know how to do that. So
you have no front of house.
But that's the thing is that it's the way that it's set up is there's two faders, one's for front of house, one is for the apron, and they're using the same mix, but you can turn either one up or down louder, and whatever you change
so the
on
house
one,
mix is going through the monitors.
The house mix is going through the monitors, and so
like straight stereo in every single one of them.
Yep. And so it's mono. Nobody's running anything stereo.
Well, whatever. Yeah,
but it's one of those things where there's no basic education in this place with regards to that stuff that there should be, which is the sound you're making for these people out here in your audience is going to be different than the sound pointing at your performers on stage, right? It's called a monitor mix, right? Some people use in-ears, but these little dot microphones. I mean, if you're like, oh, we can't.
Dude, I fucking hate them.
I know. But imagine now you've got the same mix going through both of those, your front of house and your wedges.
No wonder it overloads in phases.
Exactly. So there's all kinds of noises, and these poor kids, they're not. As we've talked about this, there's nobody there teaching them how to do this, how to use compression, how to use a gate, how to use EQ.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff. I mean. Like if
and the quickest way to fix it basically is just pull it down, right?
Yeah,
like you just pull the sound down so that you don't have as much impedance as frequencies or whatever. And so then they're like, "Oh, I fixed it." Yeah, but now I can't hear him. I fixed
it. Yeah, but now I can't hear him. Nobody can hear Jeff. Oh no!
Nobody can hear Jeff.
Oh
Jeff.
My goodness. Yeah. So it's there. The thing I'm noticing about these kind of institutions is. The infrastructure is there to make great shit happen. They just don't have the people in place to teach them. And with the way we treat our fucking teachers in this country, no wonder.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think the problem with audio, people have seen me tweet about this for years. But the problem is that you can tell something's wrong with audio.
Yeah.
But like people put up with it. People will listen to shitty radio mics that are distorted. That people will listen to shitty podcasts that have very poor mixes. Like one guy's mic is too low and the chick's mic's really loud.
Yeah.
And there isn't a good mix of EQ on something, or there's way too much reverb on this, and they'll just it's not like they're going to run from it.
Yeah.
They'll just go, I know something's weird with that. People will watch the NFL. Billions and billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars spent on cameras that can show you little blades of grass and how they touch the little guy's little toe.
Audio.
But the guy gets on the mic in the middle of the field. Yeah.
After the play,
Yeah.
And but no one's going to turn it off because of audio.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. But I'm like, how is that not fucking fixed?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand standing in the middle of a 70,000 seat stadium is hard to mic.
Yeah.
I get that.
Totally.
I understand that. But you know what? Someone fucking knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift can do it.
Yeah. Let's just
George Strait did it.
Look at Chris Stapleton doing the
do
anthem at the Super Bowl, Somebody did that fucking right. So why can't we? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally. And it pisses me off every time. And it just makes me mad that no one gets up in arms about it. But it's kind of
we do.
It's kind of one of those, I don't know if it's a lost war, but it's one of those things where we're the only soldiers trying to fight that
There's
line.
like two of us.
We're the only ones. The battle of the
with
audio
our foil
bulge,
swords.
where we're like, I want better audio. And it was like, we don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, you will care eventually.
Yeah.
And it's not like it hasn't always been important. You go to Greece, you go to Rome, and you see these amphitheaters that are actually built for someone standing in a certain place to hear it on the very back with no amplification whatsoever.
Yeah.
And this has always been an issue.
The thing that I think that people
Jesus Christ, I hope the mix on this podcast is okay. On this one specifically.
Sounds like absolute garbage.
I got to make sure nothing's peaked.
Nothing peaking. Well, it's all going to be me. Somebody's like cackling harpy on the background there.
Totally. Someone's going to write in,
I think
pretty
people,
shitty EQ, buddy. I can hear your breath.
That guy's
How
voice
about a little
doesn't
bit
sound
more
like
headroom, huh?
That guy's voice doesn't actually sound like that. Nigel. I just made a Young Ones reference. That's where you're everybody welcome.
That was very nice.
Nigel. People underestimate the power of audio and the power of sound. I've been doing a lot of
That's the power of sound.
Meditation stuff. And I mean, I've got a friend of mine, a drummer, a friend of mine. Shout out to Goose, who sent me a bunch of brainwave frequency musical meditations, quote unquote, right?
Sure.
And underneath, I've got one that I used at night, to help me get into to help me sleep, because I'm a high-strung individual. I do a lot of cocaine, and so therefore I need a little time to come down. I'm just kidding.
Nice. I prefer the meth, but very nice. Like solfeggio, the frequencies,
that kind of stuff, and
the circle of frequencies, the circle Fs,
some of that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of times you'll be listening to kind of like a guided meditation, and somebody's speaking very politely and calmly in your ear. Just want you to take one deep breath into your chest.
Well, that's ASMR.
And let it go.
These are blueberries.
But then underneath it, there's this. There's like there's a resonant. There's a wave being played that. When I find myself kind of like drifting into that wave, I feel my brain waves change, and I feel a calmness. It's like the power of this sound. Think about Stravinsky in The Rite of Spring, how in Paris, I think it was the Paris Ballet he wrote it for, how these new sounds that were created for his music for this ballet started a riot because nobody had heard it before. But then a year later, it's played in the same. I think it was the same building. I don't know if it was the same theater. No ballet, just the audio. And everybody's like, "Oh, jolly good. That's very nice. That's nice. Well done." Like they appreciated it because they'd had a year to adapt to the new sounds.
Or it was the ballet that caused the
It's entirely, but maybe these fucking ballerinas.
This is causation here, right?
Like
the second one without
that
ballet,
tutu
everybody's
is
fine with.
tight.
It was the ballet that got him fucking up in arms. That was horrible.
Tell you,
fuck this place, burn it down. Ballet sucks.
Yeah, I don't know, but as far as I know, it was.
So what frequencies are you rocking with? Rocking with that 963? You doing that 528?
I couldn't even begin to tell you what it is I'm doing. Right?
Okay,
but
so
I'm trying
you people
things
out there that don't know what we're talking about. Google solfeggio, SOLFEGGIO.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I think, 9 of them.
Yeah,
of course, because there's 3 triads. But 9 frequencies. This is one of the frequency kind of things. This is not a 432 thing. Get the fuck out of here with that stuff.
Who are you yelling at right now?
Don't worry. He doesn't listen either. But like basically, it's about frequency ranges between 174 and 963.
Yes.
Somebody check me on that. Something around that.
Kelsey.
But it's basically sound patterns.
Yeah.
Okay, frequency units. that create a melodious spectrum, you guys.
Yes.
And so some people say that, like, there's a certain frequency that heals your tissues. Yep. Usually in the lower frequencies.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
174, 285s. Then there's like wiping out negativity, 417. Mm-hmm. And so basically sound can be used to do this. And there is a lot of research backing this up. We know that a lot of sound is used in terrorism, right? We know that a lot of the CIA uses sound to break people. We know that there are sound attacks in like Cuba. There are certain kind of frequencies that humans can't hear. Think about dog whistles, but that still may affect your brain. Now, see, here's my problem with it.
Okay,
I'm down for this stuff. I want to do this binaural sound frequency, sound bathing. Yeah. But like with brain injury stuff, like when you hear those two waves going back and forth in your earphones, your headphones, like, and the idea is that it's supposed to kind of tune your brain to where your brain is trying to catch up for it. So for everyone that doesn't know, your brain doesn't actually hear things. Your brain creates what it's hearing. Yes. Like there's pressure that goes into your ears and then your brain translates it. But what your brain is trying to do is beat it. Your brain is trying to create it before it hears it. Yeah. That's the whole thing about your brain, is that it's trying to figure it out just a second before you actually see or hear something. Yeah. And so if it's a surprising thing, your brain will go, oh shit, it's a weird frequency and the frequencies are different in the right ear and the left ear. And so your brain will try to go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, rationalize that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. How did that feel?
That actually was really arousing to me. I think that might have been the love frequency right there.
So you can check out this stuff. We're going to be doing some experiments on this because Stu has brought us into this world a little bit. I fucked with this world a little bit because of brain stuff. You got to be careful because I got some stuff up there.
Yeah,
I got to be careful with my brain.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, of course. I understand.
It takes it longer, is the thing. Yeah. Like, I will listen to, like, a certain frequency that's supposed to be relaxing, and it will get me out of the shakes inside, and then it will, like, it will calm my brain, but then there are things that need to fire in my brain that, like, I have to have it fire. Yeah. And so it's kind of hard coming out of it. Like, if I could just sit around and be a Buddhist all day and, like, yeah. Just like, roll a bowl and shit. Have
you played with those Tibetan singing bowls? They're fucking really cool, man. I had a buddy of mine in high school. It was the first time I'd ever seen anything like it. Where, he hits the thing and then just drags it's almost like a mortar and pestle kind of thing. And around. It's like, I know it's kind of like the wine glasses, but like, I just find that shit fascinating. And then there's the glass harmonica. Did you ever hear that thing?
No.
Okay, so... No. Okay,
what is this?
This is the instrument that supposedly made musicians, the people who performed it, go mad, right? And so it's a bunch of bowls.
Oh, Creed.
Yeah. With arms wide open.
Well, I just heard.
Congratulations on your cruise, guys. So it's a series of bowls descending in size. So the big bowls on your left. They're all nestled together, kind of floating, and water runs over the top of them. And you touch the bowls on the top, and it does like the wine glass kind of thing when you moisten your finger. Have you ever seen the movie Interview with the Vampire? I believe it was Elliot Goldenthal maybe did that soundtrack. I can't remember. There's a glass harmonica on that soundtrack. And it's fucking creepy as fuck sounding, but the reason it's supposedly
is it a real harmonica made out of glass, or is this a
I think let me make sure I'm getting that term harmonica. Glass harmonica, also known as the glass harmonica harmonium bowl organ. So yeah, there's a photo of it. You can find it on Wikipedia, and it's just a bunch of bowls. And so the water runs over the top, and you touch. Okay. And you touch.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like a mouth harp.
No. And so you can see the picture of the guy.
I was like, oh my god, it's a glass harmonica, like a little B flat glass harmonica.
No,
that's not what it is.
Thank you, John Popper.
It looks much more like a loom.
Yeah. And so all the bowls spin and you touch it and they start resonating on whatever frequency they are.
Shit.
But supposedly it would make the player go mad if they played it too much. Now, it turns out what I believe the case was, the thing that would make them go mad was sometimes to start the bowls, they would lick their fingers to get their fingers moist. And the bowls were rimmed with, wait for it, lead.
Mercury, sure.
Yeah, anything like that. Things. So like all that kind of stuff was actually poisoning people, apparently. But yeah, what a fucking creepy ass instrument, you know?
Shout out to Dennis James, one of the contemporary players still. He's still got the balls to play it today.
Yeah.
By the way, Ben Franklin played one.
What? That does not surprise me.
One of our finest presidents.
Wait, I think I may have had a brain injury in the middle of that sentence, by the way, just so you know. Yeah.
Glass harmonica.
By the way, I'd like to point out that the Interview with Vampire soundtrack was indeed Mr. Elliot Goldenthal. And it
apparently,
is fucking
just
creepy
so everybody
shit.
knows, there are different spellings, but it's the same instrument. Franklin named his invention the harmonica.
Yeah. I wonder, like, how did we get to the mouth harmonica from the glass harmonica? Curious. Somebody get on that. Kelsey, get on it, for Christ's sake. What are you even doing today? No, she's not.
She's like, I'm going to go crazy about this shit. I don't care. I get it. That's fair.
I mean, it is a emeritus position.
Kelsey, get Dennis James on. I want to interview him.
I want to talk to him too. I want to know if he's still the contemporary glass harmonica player.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
Well, now I've gone down a rabbit hole now.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's interesting that like originally they were like, oh, the vibrations of the glass and the crystal was what made you go mad. And it turns out, no, lead poisoning has made this fucker go batty.
Yeah.
Nope.
As it turns out, the environment pretty much screws everyone eventually. It's none of the magic. Yeah. It's whatever it is. It was like, oh, as it turns out that the people that thought they died of whatever, it just turns out, oh yeah, that was typhoid because you didn't wash your fucking hands.
Yeah, after you wiped your ass,
it was electricity because you were by power lines, or it was coal, or it was mercury because it wasn't the magic you were making in the vials. It was the fucking mercury, you dumbass. Yeah,
I started seeing sounds, like, wow. He sees it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I wonder, are there gigs for these guys?
Like, I'm curious now. Yeah.
Like, is this guy out playing? Can we go see him? Can we go be a fan and be like, I'm going to throw my bra. No, we don't throw bras anymore.
Why are glass harmonias?
Because Stu thinks it's dangerous. It's a workplace, so don't throw your panties.
A few listeners were also subject to ill effects. After an incident in Germany where a child died during a performance, the harmonica was actually banned in a few towns. Some people thought that the high-pitched ethereal tones invoked spirits of the dead, had magical powers, or drove listeners mad. There you go. There's a little oh, my goodness. There's a few guys that are still out playing. Dean Shostak's Crystal Concert. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, right. Crystal Concert. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
How much are one of these things?
I'm curious though. Like I would imagine.
Holy shit! $8,000.
Yeah, but I know that. I mean, a good pedal steel's that.
Well, plus shipping.
Yeah, half these bowls are cracked.
Yeah, totally. It'll get to you. And it's like, it doesn't really make you go mad when there's only 4 of them.
Yeah, they're all a tritone apart, pissing the whole neighborhood off.
Like, hey, exactly. I can play 3 notes on this. I'm not really going mad, am I?
At the same time.
Plus, I also you've got to love a Wikipedia article that starts off with, you don't even need to read the rest of it, right? This goes, the phenomenon of rubbing a wet finger around the rim of a... ellipsis. Like that's all.
I was so turned on by the first.
I know. It sounds like a Pornhub search.
Yeah, it's can you get me something where the rim is? I would like to see
the phenomenon of rubbing a wet finger around the rim of a, and then just like whatever autofill says.
Oh, now we have to try that.
That's probably illegal as hell.
What, the rimming?
No, the actual searching.
Oh.
Go incognito if you're doing it.
Clear your browser history.
Kids.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Maybe you'll get a crystal phone.
That's a perfect segue.
Oh my God. So
perfect.
We need to figure out how people can do better at gigs. What are we doing with gigs? What's going on with gigs? What's happening in gigs these days? What's the gig world like?
I think it depends on which part of the gig world you're into, because it's a mad world out there. Because there's various places to. I mean, I do a lot of corporate and wedding performances. You know.
All right, let's delve into
the bar gigs.
What kind of music do you always do? Would you say that you do mostly all covers at corporate and wedding gigs?
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you want to
100%.
get into corporate and wedding gigs, but you're like, say, an original band that, like, you know, you play all original music, that might be hard, right?
It would certainly be difficult, but doesn't everybody start in a place of, like, we play cover song? We learned a Weezer song because it sounded good. You know?
Okay, but there's a difference, right? Because there's some people that want to play the cover song like their band would play it, right? Like they're going to play a Ramones song the way they would play it, but not the way the Ramones played it.
Yeah.
Or not the way whatever. And in like corporate gigs and wedding gigs,
you have
those
to do
kind
them
of things,
exactly.
don't you want to be truer to the recording so that
you
the
do.
people there that are
For
hearing it are kind of feeling familiar with it?
Yes, you do. It's you want to play it like it, so it sounds like, you know, the version that everybody knows. You're going to do "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston. It better fucking sound like Whitney Houston. You know, so having a guy sing it 2 octaves lower, not going to do it for everybody. But you know, then we've got a friend of ours who does a '90s band, and they have 3 guys singing all the girls' songs all the time, and they do it in falsetto, and it sounds hilarious and amazing. And they do weddings all the time because it's fun, you know? So it's, I mean, if it's your brand, stick to it. If somebody likes that and they want to hire you for that wedding, fuck yeah.
So I don't really want to get into like a brand new baby band here.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Let's say you've been a band for like 1 or 2 years, or you're an artist that has people that you play with. Mm-hmm. And you know you obviously by that point, you know a few cover songs. You must just like... Probably the first few songs you played with your band were cover songs just to introduce people to other people or to you know, audition, whatever, right? And so like you're at year 2, year 3, year 4, whatever like that. How do you break out of the scene and get bigger gigs locally, but also move into corporate stuff? Do you like... Is it that you need to come up with a full set list that is like sort of the bangers of weddings and corporate gigs, or how does that work?
Well, I think that those are 2 separate things. I think that if you want to get better gigs in the music scene, you have to draw more people to your gigs. Yes, that's how you do that. But if you want to get into the corporate and wedding thing, basically you need to have a set list of about 80 to 100 songs. You need to shoot a promo video that shows...
Now we're getting into the beef. This is what I want to hear about.
You shoot a video that shows you performing like a bunch of gods, and it's less than a minute long, and then you start shopping agents.
Okay, so let me help everyone with what he just said there. This is an EPK. You need to figure out what a fucking EPK is electronic press kit. A lot of times that just means it's a full web page.
Yes.
And that is...
It can be
you want to make sure
page.
You have really good shot video of you playing live. With people having fun, by the way. You do need live shots of people if possible, right?
If possible, yeah, but you don't have to. As long as somebody can see a high-energy performance on a stage with a bunch of lights and shit like that, and the cameras are zooming around. The one piece of advice I got for that has always stuck with me was, if there's not energy in the shot, it's in the movement of the camera. So if you're watching somebody stand at a guitar with their guitar singing at a microphone stand, the camera's moving a lot. And it's moving a lot of, so you're basically putting all the energy into the shot. There you go.
So like, if the guitarist is on like a wah, so they're locked down to their pedal board. You can also do this with editing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
So you can move the camera around in editing, and so that's how you can get some exciting, quick moving shots.
Yeah,
and basically changing a lot of the shots on the beat, maybe every 2 beats, probably every 8 seconds is what you need. To change those shots. No more than a minute, right? You
No
don't
more
need
than a minute.
any more than a minute for your
minute
like sort of
15.
promo video. Please do not do that.
Yeah, and everybody who watches it is going to make a decision within the first 20 seconds.
Yeah,
so front load
all
your
part
hot
of
shit
it's
up
going to be
front.
just what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you were doing it today, what songs would you would you put in that 1 minute? Do you do a medley?
Yes.
Or do you have just like your best banger?
No, you do. Well, those are two separate videos. I think the EPK video is just like a medley of the hot shit. We're not getting the piano intro of Don't Stop Believing here. We're doing the Don't Stop Believe. We're hitting choruses. We're hitting the high points. We're hitting all the energetic spots. And it is as tight and snug as it can possibly be, right? And there's a lot of modern music tends to, be a little bit more fleeting in its popularity, whereas there's some things like Don't Stop Believing, as much as you might not want to fucking play it, that everybody knows and everybody loves and everybody wants to sing at their wedding.
Yeah. Brown-Eyed Girl,
Footloose, fucking...
You better learn Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, I refuse to play that one anymore. but you
should learn it.
You should know it. But it's and then you've got this, like in that EPK, you have 10 or 12 songs that are 5 to 12 seconds long each, right? You're getting, just the hooks, just the catchy parts, like showing all the energy and all the performance and all that kind of stuff. And it is short, but it takes a day to shoot.
Yeah, I would say, okay, so what I've seen in some of the bands I've worked with recently, in the minute videos, I put 3 songs in there because I basically want the full, like the chorus shout and like Uptown Funk or something like that. Don't Stop Believing. Very high energy. No one needs your fucking ballad there. Nobody needs it. All of them are high energy.
What?
And just, the best versions that you can do at the time of that.
Yeah.
Do you, on your corporate side, do you post your set list? Do you post like what songs you know?
I do have a master song list, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because a lot of times when if I'm getting hired to do a wedding or I'm getting hired to do a corporate event, they go through and they go, okay. But this, I have it separate. We have about, in one of the corporate projects, we have about 7 or 8 different products, right? One's a bluegrass band, one's a country band, one's a top 40 band, one is a yacht rock band, one is a 90s band, one is a bunch of axe-throwing Vikings, like whatever it ends up being. So there's a lot of crossover in that music, but, we have ways to say, hey, you want a bluegrass band? We can kind of do that.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm done.
No, go ahead.
Rant over.
No.
Old man.
But don't talk over
Maybe
I'll talk over you. Okay. All right, so you need a long set list, and if you don't know what kind of music to look for, I would say go on YouTube and search wedding band, corporate band, and go see what other bands do. Like, this is not fucking rocket science, you guys. It really isn't. Like, these same songs, there is a core American songbook that we all have done for many years. Now, you can have your own secret shit in there. Maybe you do a killer Ludacris song that you're going to throw in there. Maybe you do a cool Snoop song or something. Maybe you do something that kind of changes it up. Look, and that's going to be fine. Just make sure that the hosts kind of know what they may get in that. But mostly there is I would say there's a good 100, 150 songs that pretty much any band that does corporate or wedding, any of those industrials is what we kind of called them back in the day. When any of those industrials, that's like, you just need to know those songs, and that's it. Totally. You just have to know them.
You have to know them, and you have to play them, and you collect your check, and you go home. It's not about... It's one of those things where it's fun as fuck. I don't care. I like to play the songs. I may never listen to Don't Stop Believing ever again. I probably won't ever listen to it on anything again. But I do enjoy playing it, and it's a different experience, and at the end of the day, I get to leave that gig with a paycheck, and I don't have to carry anything with me. I have no job to go do after that thing, right? No. Once I'm done playing, I'm done. I just go home and sit in the bathtub and cry about my feelings for once I'm done. Aw, human tea. Aw. No,
I could change the world.
Thanks, Babyface, for letting Eric Clapton have a song. A hit in the 1900s.
I just think that, so I wanted to get into this because I've had a few people kind of ask me, you guys have talked about corporate gigs and wedding gigs and stuff. Now, there's like Stu said, there are lots of different ways to do this. I've done this solo. I've also done this with, a cappella groups.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can do very specialty things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to do a 50s show, or you want to do sometimes they want something that is a background person.
Yeah.
You're still going to be playing songs, but in that case, I'm doing more like Jim Croce. I'm doing some of those kind of solo act stuff, some of the sort of mid-tempo John Mayer stuff. You're doing different kind of tempo stuff if you're a solo act in the back of in the wine area of a big corporate event. But that doesn't mean that people don't like it any less. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But again, if you want the cheat code in this, act as if you're a booker. So act as if you are the corporate booker, or you are putting on a wedding for yourself, and go and search for that in your own town, and you will see the cream of the crop who does this very well. And they will have sort of the EPK. They will have sort of the song list. They should have probably a YouTube channel that has their video or their Facebook pages.
Yeah.
By the way, you're going to have to do some Facebook stuff. A lot of this world runs through Facebook.
Yeah.
It just does. Well, maybe not the corporate stuff, but wedding stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I think there's a piece of it that's if you're doing a corporate and wedding thing and you want, especially because it's a private event and you're a host, you are the band just for these people. One of the things that really comes from that is a little bit of exclusivity. You can't find me on YouTube. You can't find me on Facebook and Instagram. What you can find is you can find my agent who's going to charge you X amount of dollars, and here's the video of this band. So there's a piece of it that's sometimes, but not all the time.
Well, but at a certain level. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying there are bands out there that are known to do this.
Yeah.
And maybe not in your town. Go find them elsewhere. But you can find what the Dan Band plays in LA.
Yeah.
Go
the
search
Dan
that.
Band. Every now and then I feel a little bit.
Basically, they fucking kill it in LA. You want a bar mitzvah band? The Dan Band.
Yeah.
This is your band. It's going to cost you probably $35,000, $40,000, but it's going to be pretty good. Okay, now here's the other thing to get into if you're going to go down this road. Mm-hmm. You get paid a lot more if you bring your own sound.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring your own lights.
Yep.
Now, sometimes when you're first starting out, you'll be doing weddings in locations that have some PAs, that have some lights.
Yeah.
Basically their reception room or outdoors. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be great.
Yeah.
Sometimes the corporate event will already have a stage set up because they're going to have keynote speakers and all of that. You will still want to bring your PA.
Yeah.
You will still want to bring something to control your own sound because they're going to have a little 4-banger PV on the side.
Yeah.
And it's not going
just
to be
for
great.
just
you still
for
want to
somebody
do
to
that
give a
at
speech.
first till you start understanding how the large stuff works, or hire a sound company if you can. Well, that's really the second you get into good money on this, where you're not playing a friend's wedding or a friend's corporate gig. When it gets into the real stuff, just hire a sound company, hire that mixer. They normally have their own shit. You're going to have to pay them very well to come and do it, but they'll set it up, they'll mix it, they'll do all the stuff there for you.
And they'll carry the liability on that equipment. Oh,
yes,
he said a word.
He
said a word.
The roof falls in.
The insurance
because
piece.
the roof is on fire.
Yeah, there's one thing that a lot of these corporate agents require, which is a certain amount of liability insurance for your project. When I hire musicians, I hire them as contractors. They're not employees. I hire them as contractors. They're responsible for their own shit, and I'm responsible for this. But my company is hiring these contractors to fulfill an obligation, and I have to protect my company by having a certain amount of liability insurance in case somebody walks on the stage and trips over a cable and has to go to the doctor and so it's just kind of a pretty normal practice now for the person who's running the project to carry that liability insurance. You're welcome for the boring piece of this whole thing.
No, and that's true, but like that's kind of jumping ahead. Like this is the same thing as getting a booking agent if you're a band. Like you're not going to be able to just do a video and get a booking agent. You're just not. You're not going to get a corporate gig for $15,000 if you've never done a few yourself. It's going to be pretty hard for you too. There are a lot of bands doing this that are in demand, professional, have done it a lot. They have, tons of recommendations behind them. And so, you've got to it's the same thing as working your way up in the clubs. Like you've got to do a few and try to get to yourself to where you have enough people that said, oh, they did a great job. That was an awesome event. And by the way, each one of these, if you kill each one of these shows, maybe not weddings, but corporate events, you kill a corporate event, nothing a corporate person, like especially the people who deal with travel and entertainment and corporations, nothing they want more than to fucking book you. You do it well once, and you're going to be back next year. And if they do that event in Florida or Cancun, they're going to be like, come on down. We got the budget because we know you're professional. You showed up on time. Everyone talked about you. The boss loved you. Yeah. It was money well spent. Everybody, like, it's what mattered. The team got stronger because of your band. Yeah, exactly. That's very true. And some of these organizations, once they find somebody they really vibe with and they really like, they'll hire you for years and years and years and years and years. We've got a few of those in our companies as well. So, but it's all part of it. It's all part of this, overall scheme to, hey, if I go do this gig for X amount of dollars, then I don't have to go do 10 gigs where I'm singing Damien Rice songs to drunk people at Joe's Crab and Liquor Mart, God damn. Doesn't crab and beer sound good right now? Yeah, kind of. We still need to go get tacos, damn it. It's taco day soon. Crab and liquor and tacos sound pretty good. Fuck yeah. That sounds like a great day. Yeah, totally. So, all right, so let's wrap this up a little bit. So if you're looking to get into this, look, you've got to love the covers. I mean, at least fake it. Make sure you look like you love them. Yeah. Play them great. Yeah. Play them true to what they're supposed to sound like, close to what they're supposed to sound like. Guitarist, that means you need to get some effects, right? Like there's going to have to be some effects pedals happening. Yeah. You might have to pick some different instruments. You're going to have some different tunings that have to happen sometimes. Yeah. Like these are some things you need to think about. Make sure to start with that song list. Get you at least 80, preferably 100. But start off with that 80. That's the way you get started into it. And then make sure that you can get a good, strong video of a minute for one cut, maybe 2 minutes for another. Very well edited. Pay someone if you don't know how to edit a video, by the way. But pay someone to shoot it, definitely. So that you get a good camera work being done on it. A well-lit stage, good sound. Yeah. Yeah, the sound is less important at the video stage. You can fix that later. But, everybody, it should be very well organized. So, when you go in there like, hey, we're going to play through the verse and chorus of Wagon Wheel, kill me now, and then we'll do it 4 times, right? And so you're very well organized. It's got to be super well organized and get different shots and get that. And also, I would say this: yes, get it shot well, but don't leave it up to your editor to make the decision on what it should look like, because they're going to choose the best looking shot versus the most effective sales piece for you. Yeah, and it just needs movement, a lot of movement, camera movement all the time. Yes. Excitement. Because honestly, Stu made the point earlier, the decision is going to be made in the first 10 seconds. Yes or no. And especially if it's a no. Yeah. Especially if they're looking through a bunch of videos, if they're looking through a bunch of bands, they're like, yeah, not this one, not this one. And that goes to like what you're wearing, what you look like, what the singer looks like. Yeah. It goes to what it sounds like and how much, but more than anything, it's how much energy you have. And I would say when I was doing this a lot, it's an acting gig. Oh, right? Yeah. Like whether it's maybe not weddings so much, but corporate gigs especially, you've got to look like, oh my God, finally I get to play Brown Eyed Girl again. Yes.
I'm so
finally.
excited. So excited. Yeah, exactly.
So excited. And just like, kill it and love it. Wink at the gal that's dancing like Elaine in the front. Like you've got to play it. You've got to play it that
exactly.
way. And if you meet the head honcho, like the woman that runs the company or the guy that's doing the booking or whatever, I'm going to give you a little hint here. You ask them, hey, what do you want to hear?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And like whatever that fucking song is, go into the bathroom and make sure you learn it. And even if the whole band can't play it, you play that song.
Yep.
Like somehow you play that song and you go, you know what? Thank you, Stacy, for having us.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to play Battery by Metallica on acoustic right now. Here we go. Slashing through the boundaries. Oh, whatever. And like, do it. Do it, whatever that is. Do that fucking thing, and like, there is no ego to it. All of us have done it, and you should do it.
Absolutely, agreed.
Any other things to add to this on how to get started?
No, I think that's a great starting place. If you can get through all that stuff, that's a great starting place.
Yeah. If you have some further questions about it, like obviously all of these things have some nuances, and there are a ton of other things that you need to do as far as like building a way to get yourself into the booking corporate world. You want someone else to be handling this for you, but how to get yourself the gigs. Go ahead and email us 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Kelsey. Do you have anything to add? Are you ever going to get married, Kelsey? She's not going to get married. That
Good
means
for you.
She's not married, you guys.
Uh-oh.
So checking on Instagram. Kelsey not married.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
All right, let's get to Sync of the Week and wrap this sucker up.
Yeah.
On Sync of the Week, you want to do yours first? Or
Yes,
you want me
I
to
do,
one?
because as we know, I am currently in Good Omens. It's one of my
Good
only
Omens
shows.
Land, G.O.
Yeah. So the first season is all Queen songs, right? All of the songs that are going, so there's like You're My Best Friend, another one, Bites the Dust. My favorite one was Roger Taylor screaming, I'm in love with my car while the car is on fire.
That fucking song.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I hated that song.
I fucking love that song now.
I have liked that song more as I've gotten older, where I've understood the meaning of it.
Yeah.
That Roger Taylor got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the first season of that show is just fucking great, and all the Queen songs.
But can we
and
agree
that
that's a stupid fucking song? Like, I'm in love with my car.
Yeah, it's a totally stupid song.
Right.
But I love it.
Okay, but like the way it's delivered and why it happened and the time it happened is why it works, right?
Yeah. We've all seen Bohemian Rhapsody, where they talk about like Roger's got a stupid song about the car.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's season 1, episode 5. I'm in love with my car by Queen. Let me find because okay, you tell me this. I'm looking at this and I see the music publisher is Nicholas Baxter. Music supervisor is Catherine Grimes. Then there's an executive in charge of music. And then we've got all the BBC musicians as well. But like, is it in the UK? Is it a similar thing where it's like the music soup's making that decision? This is the song that's going there, or I think it's pretty much all in the novel too. So.
Well, it depends on if it's like a BBC production. So like a lot of times the people who work on shows that end up going to like, streamers or whatever are actually BBC Studios productions.
Gotcha. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And those people oversee like rights and clearances for a bunch of fucking things that they have to do for PRS. In London, we're in Britain. And so that's everything from negotiation to clearance to licensing. And then sometimes, especially something that's a lot bigger in England than it is here is acquisition of composition rights. Yeah, so like they'll go and they'll like, so sometimes you have a composer here that will compose music and they'll retain the rights to it. And they may split some of the rights, but they will continue to get the royalties as the songwriter and then under their publishing agreement. But sometimes in like England, a lot of times they'll just buy them out acquisition.
Wow. All right.
And then they'll be using that in other BBC productions.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Does that make
Understood.
sense?
Yeah, totally.
But so like the music
Fantastic.
executive probably overruns the music coordinators, which deal with cue sheets and actual files and stuff like that. And then you also have the clearance people, the supervisors, and then you have the music rights and the music publishing managers. And usually the music publishing managers, the reason they are that is because they are actually dealing with the compositions that are now owned by BBC.
Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. Totally.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for that.
Buzz
Little
the
education
BBC.
there. BBC.
I've got a fucking fly right here. Oh, I'm going to kill this thing or burn the house down. Burning down the house.
Thank you, David Byrne.
Watch out. Oh, man, now I'm going to have to listen to that later. All right, mine comes from, I have been, as you know, I am stuck here in suburbia still in this house
boo.
with this dog that will not shut the fuck up until 8 o'clock at night. Seriously, I'm going from 6 until 8 o'clock with this dog. It just doesn't stop. And it's whiny. It's so like she whines because she wants to play. So sit down, and then she just wants to play, and she rips up a toy. We've gone through 4 or 5 toys. Gone. She kills them immediately. There's
Kills
just
it dead.
stuffing everywhere. It's a fucking crime scene. So I can't really watch any new shows. I can't get into any new movies because I'm pausing, rewinding, or I can't watch them. Because, you know, I got to go sit out front and talk to fucking people walking by with their dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very happy that my friends are having a good time over there in Europe.
No bitterness
Very
here.
happy
At all.
about that.
No bitterness.
So I've been rewatching The Blacklist. And as it turns out, I stopped watching The Blacklist about season 4 or 5, apparently.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I like that kind of shit. I'm a big James Spader fan.
Of course,
Blacklist, great show. I'm sure you've seen it. But anyway, it's on Netflix, and so I'm getting through it again. Season 6, episode 1. Oh, did it hit me just right. Joker and the Thief, Wolf Mother.
Yes, Wolf Mother. Fuck yeah.
I love me some Wolf Mother.
Me too.
I don't know
Dirty,
what the
sweaty
fuck
rock
Wolf
and roll.
Mother's doing these days.
Let's find out. You
They've
keep
got to
talking
be
about your
doing
thing. I'll
some
look it up.
things.
Yeah.
John Bokenkamp's the guy who created the show, and apparently he had a lot to do with some of the music because there's a lot of like classical drops, needle drops in the music because of Reddington. Raymond Reddington loved a lot of classical music. But the music supervisor is John Bissell. And or Bissell, I don't know which one it is. Hopefully he'll call me and let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joker and the Thief by Wolf Mother, season 6, episode 1 on the Blacklist.
Nice.
And that is your sync of the week. All right, let's wrap this up. Press pause, Kelsey. No, don't. Please don't press pause or this whole thing will be ruined. Remember to rate and subscribe and give us 5 stars and leave a hilarious comment or a dirty comment or a nice comment or any comment at all on Apple Podcasts. We still have a 5-star rating, dude. We're doing well.
Fuck yeah. 5 stars.
Follow us where you follow people at 2ShotsMusicPod. TikTok, kicking ass. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
A lot of times we bust some ass on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays on TikTok.
Nice.
And, you know, I get it. We're not TikToking all the time. I get it. Or Instagramming all the time. I get it. You want to know why? Because we're doing fucking music stuff, man. I'm not a social media guy. All right? All right?
Yeah.
So thank you for watching those, though. And thanks for following us on all of the little social stuff. We really do appreciate it. We really do.
What is the questions? Email 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com.
Yeah. And
That's
you can
it?
also go to 2ShotsMusicPod.com. No, wait a minute. You said it wrong. 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. Is that right?
That's what I said.
Okay, that's what you said. Well, stop arguing with me, Kelsey.
Why booty traps? That's what I said.
Boobies. You can also go to 2ShotsMusicPod.com.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
you can find all of this stuff and more, I think.
All right. 2 Shots Music
By the way, the
Pod.
hunt is still on for Kelsey. She's on Instagram. We know that.
Yeah. Okay, so we've narrowed the platform down.
Very good looking. She is a very artistic person.
Would you say she's really, 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 really good looking?
I think 2 reallys would be fair.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, Wolf Mother is still touring. I don't know what their most recent album situation has been, but yes, there's definitely some touring happening.
Oh, good.
So that's good.
Good for you, Wolf.
Wolf Mother.
We hope
most
to,
recent album.
Soon.
April 28th, 2023. They had a single come out.
All right,
called
fantastic.
Stay a Little Longer. Yeah.
All right, everyone. We hope you write a great song this week.
Congratulations on being awesome.
See you next week. Cheers.
Love you all. Bye. Write a great song.